People, back again on my channel, Slens Talks. What can you say? Listen, terrible performance, terrible end of the season, absolute bottle job mentality. It was an embarrassing performance, and the result is terrible, but the overall result of the season papers over the cracks. We make top 4. Yay, that is our goal apparently now. That performance is probably one of the worst of the season. The fact that I'm saying this is embarrassing because it's supposed to be our biggest performance of the season. It's the last game of the season. Something is on the line, you know, something that we should have had wrapped up a while ago is on the line, just top 4, and we still managed to make it a difficult task. We still managed to bottle the task. We still managed to not complete it. And guess what? Who the club that completes the task for us is Tottenham Hotspurs. Tottenham Hotspurs. They beat Leicester 4-2 away from home to secure Chelsea a Champions League spot. Embarrassing. Listen, before I go on and start my rant, if that's what I want to call it, I'm going to ask you guys to obviously like this video and subscribe to the channel for more videos coming up. I plan to do more transfer videos in the summer, talk about the Euros, and obviously talk about the implications of the Euros when it comes to Chelsea, players, their performances, and etc. So make sure you subscribe because there will be a lot more content coming through hopefully. But listen, when it comes to this performance, I'll break it down into 3 or 4 parts. I think for me, we have to first look at the defense. I think the defense has been good all season. The penalty conceded by Jorginho is poor. But the corner I want to go into first, that corner routine is one that should catch out a Sunday League team. Not a Premier League team that's aspiring to win the Champions League in a couple of days. Embarrassing. It should never be a free shot on goal from a corner. Never. The organisation has been terrible. And you know what? Our defence has been good all season. I'm not going to be reactionary about it. We need someone who organises defence. And the person who I'm referring to here is Aspi. Aspi was sent off in this game, by the way. Our captain. The most important game of the season in the Premier League. Aspi, our captain, let me repeat, was sent off. Should never be the case. It should never be the case. This is a guy that has been with us for a long time servant. I have questioned his captaincy. I've questioned his captain minerals, his captain abilities to kind of put this team together and you know, organize us. Today, we should have had a penalty. And the reason I say that is when it hit, was it Mings' arm? But the problem is that none of our players went to the referee to put pressure on him, to check VAR. Because that's how VAR works nowadays. Put pressure on the referee and he'll go check it. I've seen it happen in many games. And the people who go up to him are the experienced ones, the captains. But the captain doesn't do that. And I've gone over it many times. There's been many incidents in the past. The Kepa incident comes to mind. You know, like he didn't get involved in that situation, which is embarrassing. That was 3 years ago. 3 years ago. I remember a couple of years ago, we played PSG in the Champions League. It was a home leg. It was like 5 years ago. A home leg. And Zlatan tackled Oscar with his foot higher. And we all surrounded the referee and put pressure on him. And he got a red card, which wasn't even deserved. But because of the pressure we put on, he got a red card. Where is this? Where is this game management? Where is it? No organization today. Terrible. Terrible. Number 2, I'm going to go over the midfield. I think Jorginho and Kovacic, that pivot has been... It's worked well in times today, in the season. The fluidity of the team is always better with them around the midfield. They interlink really well and they are quite press resistant, both of them. I feel like today, when the first goal went in, their heads went. Their heads went, and it's not acceptable at this level. I've said this many times, I'm a fan of Jorginho because I think he gets a lot of undeserved hate from our fan base. And Kovacic, he speaks for himself. It was last season he got our player of the season. He's incredible at being press resistant and kind of finding spaces in midfield and kind of passing the ball to our front three. They lost their heads today. They lost their heads and there's no excuse for it. Like, we can't have this level of performance before a Champions League final. I'm not even going to get into the Champions League final until later. It's embarrassing. Jorginho today conceded the penalty, and that is, again, a very bad mistake. And I get it. People call him inconsistent and I get annoyed at it. But really and truly, these mistakes, they shouldn't be made by an experienced player. Not consistently. He's made three big mistakes recently. And he's had 3 out of the last 4 performances have been poor from Jorginho. And that shouldn't be the case before a Champions League final. Like, I will back him up. I will stand up for him. But he has to help himself, man. Like, he's been a great player under Tuchel. A great player. He's been very consistent, which is ironic because I'm seeing him being consistently shit. And that's not acceptable, man. I expect better from him. He's a conductor. He should be controlling our midfield. He should have a level head. But it's disappointing. Disappointing. If I go into number 3 will be, obviously, I'm looking at the main issue this season. the main issue, and I say the main issue, I've touched on the defense and the midfield, but that was a separate occasion for that match. But the main issue, this isn't just an issue for this game. It's been an issue all season. It's the front three, the attacking impetus, the finishing of chances. It's one of the worst in the top 6. We do not have a single player who has over 10 Premier League goals. No team has ever finished in the top 4 without one of their players having more than 10 Premier League goals. Our top goal scorer is Jorginho with 7 penalty goals. Not a single open play goal from Jorginho. We signed Werner for 50 million upwards. We signed Havertz for 73 million upwards. Ziyech, 35 million upwards. They've all been very underwhelming, every single one of them. No excuses. The reason I go at Werner so much is because he has had our most appearances attackingly. Our most appearances, one of the most minutes in the Premier League from a Chelsea player. Yet, he's only got 6 league goals to show for it. 6 league goals in 35 appearances. Poor. Very poor. David McGoldrick has 8 Premier League goals. Plays for Sheffield United, they got relegated. Willock, who joined Newcastle in January, has 7 Premier League goals in 14 games. This is just to give you an indication of how poor Werner has been. It's not right. It's not just his missing of chances. His fundamental game is poor. He might make the runs, yes, good. If he didn't make the runs, then he'd be completely useless in this team. But he makes the runs, okay, I'll give him credit for that. But the fundamentals, the technical ability, the ability to link up with a front three, non-existent every single time. And I get it, he's had big performances. The performances that didn't come with goals, by the way, but it was big performances. Okay, I can accept that. Real Madrid, Man City, fair enough. But consistently, where have you been this season? Where have you been? Very poor, Timo Werner. Very poor. When it comes to Timo Werner, for next year, he has until January, if even that. If he keeps showing the same form, then I'm sorry. I've lost my patience with him and I'm done. I'm done listening to all the excuses. I'm done. Moving on to Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is another, well, the biggest signing we've had this season. And today, he came on, he did okay. But this has turned into a rant about our whole season. And that's natural because, again, we scored 1 goal and it was from Chilwell. That's unacceptable, man. They need to show up. But back to Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz, listen, he came on and he looked bright. I feel like the reason I don't go in on him as much as Werner is because I see the fundamentals, I see the touches, I see the ability to link up, I see the ability to drop deep and kind of link up with the midfield and the front three. But again, he's missed chances as well. And he doesn't get let off the hook because arguably he's been our worst signing. Arguably. Because Ziyech has come up with moments and I'll go into him later. Havertz, I feel like it's all very hot and cold with him. And this season, he's got a lot of excuses and I will grant him those excuses. When it comes to next season, I want to see him being used correctly, number 1. And I want to see him actually contributing with goals and assists, being effective. We need effectiveness in this team. And Kai Havertz can be one of the guys to do that. It was a positive performance from him, but I need to see more of it. Hopefully he stays fit and we see a much better Kai Havertz next season. I'm going to move on to Ziyech. Ziyech, who's again someone who came on and done reasonably well. But unfortunately, again, if we actually reflect on his season, it's been very underwhelming again. And I did not want this guy. I'll be very honest with you. I did not want him at Chelsea. And I can put up a tweet right now on the screen. In 2019, I said him and Ben Chilwell weren't the signings that we should get because I felt like he's someone who isn't very efficient. And even he's a very frustrating player because he will try a pass and he will try to play the risky pass constantly. And that comes to the detriment of your possession, of your ball retention. And this isn't a Tuchel system. What I just described when it comes to Ziyech does not suit a Tuchel system. So that was my criticism of him back then, not knowing we had Tuchel coming in January 25th. So listen, it seems to me like he doesn't have a place to fit in. But again, with him, it's the same as Werner. He gets until next season, and not even the full season, until January. And if we don't see improvements, then he's got to go. In the words of an AFTV fan cam, he's got to go, blood. And I agree, he should. But listen, when it comes to the last person I didn't mention before, but Pulisic started the game and frustrating. Very frustrating. I get it, he has fancy flicks, great technical ability, can take on players, but we lack effectiveness, we lack goals, we lack chances finished, we lack that. And Pulisic does not offer that. And you think you'd let him off the hook because he can take on players and make something happen, kind of find the spaces and link up play. But he didn't do that. He hasn't done that in a while. Not since the first or second leg of the Real Madrid game. And that's unacceptable, man. We can't carry people in this team. We can't carry the front line. We carry too many players. We carry too many of them. The Werners, the Havertz at times, the Pulisic, even Mount gets carried sometimes. We can't do that. because we need someone to be clinical, someone to score goals. Because they're all being carried by one another when they can't carry each other, we have problems, man. We have problems. And he's part of it. His inconsistency is part of it. Like, I understand he's had injuries, and that is another thing to actually blame him for. But we can't have this, man. We can't. This isn't the Pulisic that I remember post-lockdown. It's not the Pulisic I remember. So again, pressure's on him next season. Pressure's on him next season. And this was one of his worst performances again. Very ineffective. He got the assist, okay, thank you very much. But the rest of the game, rubbish, man, rubbish. Yeah, that brings me to the last person. I think I'm gonna speak about this person in a bit of depth. I think Mason Mount. Listen, Mason Mount had a very average game, missed our most dangerous chance, and I think it's fair to criticize him, unlike some of the fan base who refuse to admit that he can be criticized and always push the agenda that he's Player of the Year. Fair enough, he deserved Player of the Year in my opinion. He's been probably our best player. But again, that's the problem. Like, he's been so inconsistent at times, yeah, that he showed a level, like a very small level of consistency and you know, clutch moments that has catapulted him to the Player of the Year. And it's well deserved, I can't blame him, but I don't think it's an indication of him rising above everyone. I think everyone else just didn't perform to his level. And it's embarrassing, he's 22 years old. He should not be our best player, I'm sorry. Even based on his ability, he shouldn't be our best player. He's an incredible press, energy, and you know, hard work in that midfield / forward line, and he has special moments at times, but those come far in between. They come far in between. He's got about 6 goals in the Premier League, 73 chances created, yes, incredible. But how many of those chances are clear-cut chances created? How many of those chances are open play chances created? How many open play assists does he have? I can answer that. He's got less than 5. And this is not to pick point at Mount. It's important to notice our deficiencies. Him and Werner take the most shots in our team, and if you look at Mount's rating, he's almost 116th when it comes to shots converted into goals in the league. Poor. It shouldn't be the case. And the same with Werner. Werner gets even less excuses because he's older. He's a world-class striker apparently last year. But this kid is 22. He shouldn't be our best player. He should not be our best player. I'll repeat it. He should not be our best player. But he is, and that's credit to him for that. But he also has deficiencies. He needs to be carried at times. But no one stepped up and done that. No top striker's done that. Every other team has a top striker who can score goals and assist in high numbers and high volume. The Brunos, the Harry Kane, the Marcus Rashford, you know, even Sadio Mane this season, Salah, they all do that. But we don't have a player that does that, and it's a massive concern. It's a terrible position to be in. But we got top 4 despite all these problems. So next season, I want to see improvements. There's no excuses. I don't want to be in the same position a year from now. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It was an embarrassing result for everyone. Even Spurs didn't want to win in the end because they got us top 4. It's embarrassing. I have to thank Spurs fans. For what? But yeah, listen, this was a bit of a long rant, probably one of my longest videos when it comes to pre-recorded, but it's the end of the season, so there's a lot to talk about, obviously. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, I have to remind you guys to make sure you leave a like and subscribe to this video. I'll be uploading more content, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon, and we'll see you guys after the Champions League final, which could either be a great video or a very depressing one. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you